Hey fourth graders, welcome back to art class. It's Miss Mitchell. For this week, we are going to look at an element of art called value, and we're going to be creating some art with some value. This week, we are going to be looking at an element of art called value. Now, I do not have a PowerPoint to show you guys for this week, but we are going to just take a look at this example worksheet that I have right here. So value is the lights and darks of a color. For example, we can see the lightest value here is white, and then we have some light grays, middle grays, dark grays, all the way to black. So these middle grays show some value between the white and the black. It does not just go immediately from white and jump all the way to black. There's these middle grays, light grays, middle grays, dark grays in between. You can see it blended together a little bit better here without the lines of the boxes. So it's the exact same thing, just without those boxes. It should blend together smoothly like a gradient. And then right here down below, I just created a sphere using these different values. So it was normally or originally just a circle, but I added those values to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. So you can see some of those light grays, middle grays, dark grays, all the way to some black in the shadows. And all those values give it that three-dimensional form. If I only used one value, it would look very flat and two-dimensional. But because I used more than one value, it looks more three-dimensional. So what we are going to do today is we're going to use those values and we are going to draw a shark head. I want you to get out a piece of paper. It can be any kind of paper, whether it's blank paper like this, or if you just have notebook paper like this, you can use that. Use what is available to you. Also, you should get out a pencil and an eraser to start with. We will be adding color in just a little bit, but we always like to start with pencil first because if we make a mistake, we can always erase it. So you are going to follow along with me. That means you are drawing what I draw. If I go too fast for you, you can always, one, pause the video, or two, you can rewind it and play it back again. So pause or play it back again. So once again, follow along with me. When I draw a line, you draw a line. I am just going to start out by making sure my paper is vertical like this. So we want it vertical, not horizontal. This would be horizontal. We want it vertical. I am going to draw an upside down V like this, or upside down U, whatever you want to call it. And that is the shape of my shark head. Obviously, we're not done yet. We still have some things to add. We're going to add the eyes. So let's keep it towards the top right here. There's one circle for one eye, and here's the other circle for the other eye. And the shark has kind of like some nostrils right here. Here's one, here's two. Try your best to make sure they're around the same size and that your eyes are about the same size. And the last thing we're going to add before we start coloring with some value is the mouth. So I want you to draw a big mouth like this. We're going to bring it back around. And of course, sharks have teeth, just like this. You can add as however many teeth as you want. And we can just go ahead and add the pupils back into the eyes like this. And we can draw a water line up here. If you want to, you can add just some fish. Maybe he's about to say hi to these fish. These are friendly fish. If you ever seen Finding Nemo, remember that fish are friends, not food. This is a friendly shark. All right, so I've added my water line. I've added some fish. Fish friends. Fish are friends, not food. Now, we are going to, let's outline this first. If you have some sort of black marker or a Sharpie, you might want to use that. If you have maybe just a black crayon or a black colored pencil, you can use that. Since I have a marker, I'm going to outline it with that. Remember when you are doing this to go nice and slow. If you go too fast, you might mess up, and you cannot erase marker. You cannot erase crayon or colored pencil. So again, go nice and slow. All right, I finished outlining everything with my black marker. Now this is the part where we are going to start shading. If you just want to shade with a pencil, you can shade with your pencil. If you want to shade with a crayon or a colored pencil, you can do that. The only thing I would not suggest to use to shade is a marker. We can't really shade with a marker. So if you don't have a crayon or colored pencil, I would suggest using just a regular pencil to shade with. Okay, markers are not going to give you all these different kinds of values right here. Markers only have one value, and that would be this black. Okay, so I am going to shade with just my pencil. I need to sharpen my pencil. So if you need to do that before you start this part, go ahead and do that. Now that I've sharpened my pencil, I'm going to start shading in my shark head. It is up to you whether you want to shade from light to dark, or if you want to shade from dark to light. I would suggest starting from one end and going to the other. You can start in the middle, but it might make it a little bit harder. I am going to start from light and work my way towards dark. So I am going to start on my left side of my shark and work my way darker to this side. So you can notice that my first value is just white. So I'm going to leave a little bit of my shark just completely white. I'm going to go from white to light gray. You can see white to light gray. So I'm working from this way to this way. So the way that I get light gray is that I press very, very lightly with my pencil. It's even hard to see on the screen here, but if I hold it up to the camera a little bit closer, you can kind of see that light gray right there. I know it's a little hard to see, but that's a light gray. So I'm not pressing very hard with my pencil at all. Or if you're using a crayon, don't press very hard with your crayon. Just very, very lightly, like you're barely even touching the paper with your pencil or your crayon. I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna skip the mouth. I'll come back to that later. But I'm just gonna go nice and slow, very lightly. I'm gonna go all the way up to the top of my shark head. Let me hold it back up to the screen really close right here. So you can see it's pretty light. I'm gonna kind of widen that out a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna keep going up. I'm just widening the area that I'm coloring by just a little bit. So that's my light gray. So now that I've done my light gray, which I know it's really hard to see, but I've done it, I am going to move into this middle gray. So that means I'm going to start back down here, and I'm going to press a little bit harder with my pencil, just a little bit. It should be a nice smooth transition. And remember, you can always go back over this again later to make it darker. It's easier to go from lighter to darker just because you can add more pressure to your pencil rather than taking away pressure. So that's the reason I like to work from lighter to darker. It's easier to add pressure and make it darker than it is to take away that pressure and make it lighter. I'm going to go right in between the nose right here. And like I said, since it's easier to add pressure, if you need to kind of blend in this area here to make it look a little bit smoother, you can. Just make sure you do it a little bit at a time. Not too hard. Do not press too hard with your pencil. And I'm going to move towards this dark gray here. So again, I'm starting at the bottom right here. Notice I'm pressing a little bit harder. All right, so notice this transition from light gray. So notice the transition from light gray to middle gray to dark gray. I could probably even do a darker gray. I know I only have 5 boxes here, but I could do, if I had like another box here, I could do an even darker gray. And I achieve this by pressing even harder with my pencil. If you need to sharpen your pencil again while you are doing this, then go ahead and do that. I know that this might take a little bit of a toll on your pencil. It might make your pencil pretty dull pretty quickly. So sharpen whenever you need to sharpen. All right, you can see I did do a darker gray here. So a light gray, middle gray, darker gray. And the darkest you're going to ever get with your pencil is like a darker gray. You can choose, if you have a black crayon or colored pencil, you can do this last part with black colored pencil or crayon. So the pencil, it only ever goes to a dark gray, but it never gets to completely black. So that is why, once again, I'm using a black colored pencil just to finish off this side right here. Also notice how when I was coloring, I tried to stay mostly in the same direction. I colored horizontally like this, and I move my way upwards. It just helps to keep your lines looking much cleaner and neater rather than going all different directions. I did kind of switch directions on the eye, but I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have just stayed in that same one direction. So hopefully doing this activity, you should see that your shark has a little bit more dimension to it rather than it just being completely flat looking. Okay, so you can go back and finish the rest of your shark. You can color in the eyes and your mouth. You can color in the water and the fish around the shark. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the rest of this video and show you the completed result after I finish coloring. This is my completed artwork, my completed shark head. Once again, we worked with the element of art called value, and value is the range of lights to darks in a color. So we started with white, and we had black as our darkest value, and then we had all these different shades of gray in between our white and our black. I hope that you had fun with this little art activity. The last thing that I want you to do once you finish your project is to take a 5-second video of your artwork and submit it through Canvas. All of that is done, the recording and submitting, all of it is done through Canvas. If you do not know how to do this, then there is a video tutorial on the assignment page for this week. So go to the art classroom, click on assignments, click this week's assignments, and watch the video tutorial on how to do that. And once you have done that and submitted the assignment, then you are good for this week. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.